red candle exposed what's inside of me. Had to crucify emotion, let discipline arise. Cause my Vans trading kill quicker than a thief at night. Jericho standing tall like impossible resistance. But faith make walls go after consistent persistence. Joshua marching even when it made no sense. The patience in the walking when you wait for confirmation. See the weak chase entrance, the wise wait calmly. Person either burst pipes or create king sharply. Now I move strategic like the shepherd with the stone. Gave it burst of giants every morning at the hope it don't fold. In the wilderness, the promise still ahead. Every loss ain't destruction. Sometimes God rebuild a traitor instead. Jericho walls following my faith loud. Used to pray emotional, now my spirit strong. Joshua rebuilding while they doubted every step. Now the pressure build diamonds every time I get them tested. Escaping Babylon, I can live, train to fear. Market full of idols, I just walk a vision king. Planting seeds of silence, trying to chase attention. Labor bring the harvest when you're moving intention. I seen traders worship poverty like a golden calf. Losing themselves chasing candles, moving way too fast. The wisdom worth more than silver and the gold. The disciplined mind worth more than what's inside your palm. Following up a lot harder when I say I had to break resistance. Market levels and the chains that kept protecting my decisions. Now the set of cleaner, spirit moving sharper. Every setback became fuel for moving smarter. They panic with the crowd when the headlines hit. The move they know a building while they left that hit. Discreparate and look foolish before the rain arrives. But survivors think different when they fighting to survive. Fast seasons feeling buried underneath the pressure. The seeds gotta die before they multiply forever. That's kingdom mathematics, that's the Lord's own reaper. Patient trader eat, non-emotional trader sleep. It's bigger than trading. It's about mastering yourself. Anybody can enter a trade. You can conquer emotion. Escape Babylon. Cycle. Move with wisdom. Build with faith. Smart action trading. They told us chase fast money, worship greed.
The information shared during this live stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. All trades, ideas, and strategies discussed are my personal opinions and are not recommendations to buy or sell any securities. Trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. You are solely responsible for your own trading results. The information shared during this live stream.
Top of the morning, traders, and happy Thursday, July 16th, and welcome to the most value-packed live trading show, where we live trade, break down charts, cover high-impact events, and talk trader mindset. Hope everyone had a wonderful day yesterday and is ready to kick off another opportunity-filled day. We did get some orange photo catalysts in the pre-market. Unemployment claims came in below the forecast and below the previous reading, which is promising for Wall Street, for Main Street, I should say, which is promising for the economy. We did get some other orange folder catalyst, retail sales. We do have some yellow folder catalysts coming up later during the day. So again, pay attention to the economic calendar. We're looking to gap down to open things up. Gap down to open things up on SPY. Gap down within prior days range. We were very close to breaking past that daily upside breaker. So as we open up, guys, let the market digest the data. If you have to wait the first 30 minutes, the first hour, make sure to wait. Be patient. Take less trades. Use less size if you need to, and make sure to play defense. All right. So make sure to like the video. Let's get to 100 likes before 10:30. We'll do the giveaway. If you're interested in joining our community for the delay-free, ad-free stream, the link is pinned in the chat up top. We are officially open. Good morning, guys. Good morning. We are seeing somewhat of a dead cat bounce in the pre-market in the Qs. So let's see if the Qs have some legitimacy behind that move. We're seeing Palantir slide to the downside, Tesla slide to the downside, aggressive push to the downside on Tesla. We did see a sell-off on Tesla yesterday. Tesla's below that daily downside breaker, that weekly downside breaker as well. We're seeing some strength on Amazon. We're seeing weakness in Palantir. Okay, Tesla falling off a cliff. Okay, small caps pushing, down pushing, Qs pushing, SPY pushing, all the more on the same page during the first minute of the day. So let's see if that can continue to persist. Tesla falling off a cliff. Tesla falling off a cliff here. What's our friend Meta doing? Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone on YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thumbs up in the chat if the audio is good. Thumbs up in the chat if the audio is good on YouTube. Okay, let's get the likes up as you're coming in. Smash the like button. As you're coming in, smash the like button. And we should be on pace to get to 100 likes, all right? So nice little gap down to open things up. Nice little gap down. Nothing changes for us, guys. Nothing changes for us. We continue to do the same thing in the face of changing markets, all right? Things change. Where we open up changes. What the catalyst changes. We just let the market digest the data, but we're looking to do the same thing, all right? We can't expect the market to be consistent. The consistency is on our side, all right? The consistency is our end of the deal. Being consistent in an inconsistent market. All right, so now we have we're above that key zone that we discussed with our team. Palantir falling off a cliff. Tesla falling off a cliff aggressively. Today is Thursday, so Thursday. Today's the 1 DTE days for those mega cap tech names. Palantir falling off a cliff, early candidate. Apple falling off a cliff as well, pulling back. Meta falling off a cliff. Tesla's falling the hardest, guys. Tesla fell below weekly downside breaker. Tesla fell below the daily downside breaker, and Tesla is down 3 points. 3 points to kick things off. Okay, so Tesla, what a drop on Tesla. That does pique my interest. That does pique my interest. Devil Dog, you take Tesla. I know you've been crushing Tesla the past few days. Thank you for the gap down. Right off the open, you've been crushing Tesla. Good morning, everyone on YouTube. Good morning, Palantir falling off a cliff. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, 1036 Rich. Does pre-market levels count from the overnight? Does pre-market levels count? Yeah, the pre-market levels count. Good morning, Wiz Athletics. Good morning, BT6305. Good morning, Sid. Thank you for supporting the channel. Good morning, Fishman. Matthew 10:14. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Amen, amen, amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Blessings to everyone in the chat, guys. It's just as wonderful to wake up, okay? Clean bill of health. All right, don't take the small things for granted. Have an opportunity to click buttons, put ourselves in position to win. Despite the challenges the market comes with, guys, that within itself is a win. Okay, that within itself is a win, a new day, a new opportunity. So don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. All right? Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Good morning, team. Good morning. So Qs, okay, Qs, and with the team we discussed, are the Qs making a legitimate bounce, or is this a dead cat bounce? All right. So the Qs, that's that determining factor is going to be interaction with that weekly 50% retrace 71214. Okay, 71214 is the determining factor. For SPY smack down in the middle of this key zone. All right. So we discussed the importance of this key zone with our team, and we need some kind of separation away from this key zone. Separation away from it can propel us to pre-market low, okay, or to pre-market high. In this case, we're seeing Amazon fall off a cliff as well. Apple fall off a cliff as well. Okay, all these names are falling off a cliff nicely. Okay, all these names are falling off a cliff nicely. All right, so, okay, look at the Qs. Qs are falling off a cliff now. All right, so nice little dead cat bounce on the Qs. Dow selling off. My goodness, if you want to see a nosedive, take a look at ARM's chart. Interesting thing is TSM did report earnings. TSM is pumping, and Muse pumping. We're seeing everything else dump here. So if the mags start to fade, that tells us the move that took place yesterday, we're seeing some profit taking. So the question becomes, where is the money flowing into? Okay, where's all this scared money going to? All right. Where is the money flowing into? Amazon falling off a cliff, Tesla falling off a cliff, Palantir falling off a cliff, Google falling off a cliff, Apple falling off a cliff, Nvidia falling off a cliff, Meta falling off a cliff, and VIX starting to spike here slightly. Our trusty friend Walmart. Good call, Carlos. I don't think I've traded Walmart this month or last month, but Walmart always a good rotation play. So it looks like we're going to rotate into staples. All right, that's where the scared money is going to. If this continues, right, the money's looking for a hiding spot, right? And most of the time, if you know where it's going to hide, it's going to be in the staples most of the time. All right. So there's a lot of scared money in the market because AI is getting beat up. Tesla falling off a cliff. Walmart holding up. We got Microsoft relatively holding up. We got UNH. We got Uber, so industrials. We got Starbucks holding up. We got Baba holding up, international. So a lot of those staples, healthcare holding up. Staples, healthcare, and internationals. MSCI. Okay, that's what we're going to so far. So it looks like we're going abroad, and we're going to defense names. Yeah, IW, interesting enough, IW continues to push. Good call on IW. Okay, Amazon does look interesting here. Amazon. The Amazon 250 puts look appealing. These are expiring tomorrow. Okay, I'll have that on watch. We have Palantir. Palantir was the one trade that worked beautifully for us yesterday. We got the Palantir puts, the 120 at 129s. 130s as well. These are also expiring tomorrow. So Palantir, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, all those names continue to dump. So if what we're seeing continues, okay, those are some names that could possibly present an opportunity to the downside. If the downside push continues, Walmart becomes a candidate at the upside. Okay, so WMT calls. I'm looking at the 115. These are also expiring tomorrow. So we're getting that separation away. We finally got a retrace reject here. Getting that separation away from that key zone, okay, in pursuit of PML like we discussed. All right, so folks on YouTube, it's very important that you do tune in for that pre-market prep. That'll get you ready, guys. We don't need a whole hour. We need 15 to 20 minutes to get ready. Okay? Because we're going over the most important things. Small caps do look promising. All right, small caps do look promising to the upside. So a nice dead cat bounce on the Qs. Okay. So I'm keeping a close eye on Amazon, keeping a close eye on Palantir to the downside, keeping a close eye on Walmart to the upside. Tesla and Meta also pushing. Okay, Meta pushing to the downside. You can also have Palantir and Apple as secondaries, but Apple, that dump on Apple can possibly be pullback. You can look for a bounce. Okay. Tesla, gorgeous. How we doing, guys? How we doing, team? So we got Tesla. We got Walmart. We got Walmart on watch. We got Amazon on watch. We got Nvidia on watch as well. Look at that Palantir candle, guys. Goodness. Walmart. See if Walmart can pop above that daily upside breaker. Right, the Qs, they refuse to break below that PML. So PML, We discussed that PML and that daily downside breaker. That's aggressive support. If that support fails to hold, all right, the bulls are going to do whatever they can to protect that with their lives. If that fails to hold, we slice and dice. All right, that's basically equivalent to the bottom falling out. IWM to the upside, so it's small caps. 296 calls. These are going to be zeros. All right. Okay, we got Palantir falling off a cliff beautifully. Walmart pushing to the upside. We got Google falling off a cliff as well. Apple, okay, Apple, there might be some buyers interested off those lows, so I'll forego shorting Apple as it is strong on the daily. All right, dip buyers can come in. So the main focus on the Qs, guys, is 709.59. 710, 24, 709.59. Can we hold or do the Qs fold? Can we hold or the Qs fold? Can we hold or do the Qs fold? Let's see if we can get Palantir. Palantir continues to drop, guys. It does have room. It does have room into this key zone down at that 127.36 and 126.95 territory. All right, so another $2-3 move is possibly available on Palantir. If you're looking for the retrace reject along with the VWAP, you have to wait for it to bounce into 131.87. Okay, there goes the Qs. There goes the Qs. All right, can they hold below pre-market low? Okay, what kind of buyers try to defend that PML? If you took this slide to the downside, okay, based on the game plan from pre-market, all right, this is the trade. All right, this is where you're going to take the profits, or at least a majority if you took that slide separation from that key zone. Anything beyond pre-market low is a bonus. All right, is a bonus. Now the question becomes, do they try to trap those shorts at pre-market low and drive them back to this key zone, or do we have enough follow through to get to down here? So I would assume that buyers would try to drive this thing back up, at least for a dead cat bounce off that pre-market low, especially with the kind of action we've been seeing. Google just falling off a cliff. Nosedive on Google. So I'll add Google to the list as well. So those names are showing some tremendous weakness. I'm looking at the Google. You can look at the 365s. Okay, be mindful of the spreads on Google. If you can get the bid, that would be better. Walmart continues to push the upside. All right, so if you're taking the puts, your puts is from this retrace reject from that key zone targeting this PML. And then now if you trade PML, you're deciding, okay, am I taking this bounce off PML? Where's my risk going to be? And where's my target? Or am I taking this complete breakdown below PML? Look at Walmart, guys. Walmart is thriving. Walmart is thriving. So I have Walmart, Palantir. So Palantir puts, Walmart calls, IWM calls, and Amazon puts all on watch. Okay, all those names are on watch. Okay, SPY. Why isn't Shockwave giving the levels? For some reason, Shockwave is not giving me the levels. Is that happening for anyone else? Okay, there we go, because it's not time yet. Okay, jump the gun. All right, Palantir, Google on watch. For the puts, Tesla on watch for the puts if we start to break down. So now this SPY breakdown, guys, is from that Shockwave level to that, okay, down here. But we're at PML already. So this would be the retrace reject opportunity. And that break below that level will be the expansion to the downside with some follow through. If the Qs can do that same thing, that'd be great. So you probably need participation. You probably need the market to be synced. All right. Scores at 51 so far. All right. 51 out of 100 does give you a score. So just be mindful of that. We need participation from the Qs. Small caps are starting to go. Small caps are starting to go. Nvidia trigger those lows. Apple also looking good to the upside. Apple 335s. You can go with 335s or 330s for the calls. Small caps continue to push. Nvidia starting to break down here. Walmart triggered. No signal yet. Apple starting to break. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on the Apple calls, 335s. I want that retest on Apple. Okay, I want that retest on Apple. Some of the other names, SNDK falling off a cliff. Okay, Shockwave on SNDK, Shockwave on MRVL. Okay, Shockwave on a lot of those names. Interestingly enough, mags are trying to hold. Look at SNDK. We trade SNDK. It's falling off a cliff aggressively. So Apple, I'm waiting for the retest on Apple. Potential, if we continue to dump, guys, potential reclaim on Walmart. Apple pushed all the way into PMH. Okay, see if Apple can come back in one more time. Come a little lower. I want that exact entry. Keep a close eye on PLTR. If SPY starts to get heavy, guys, PLTR for the puts. Okay, we need the Qs to break down here. Okay, you can go with the 129s, you can go with the 127s. If you're going with SPY, manage accordingly. Okay, Palantir starting to break. I want that retest. Same thing with Palantir, guys. I want that retest. Same kind of entry model. If you took the break initially on Palantir via Shockwave, manage accordingly. SPY is starting to go. We got the break on SPY. Qs are starting to go. There goes Palantir. There goes Nvidia. There goes Apple. There goes SPY. There goes QQQ. Pull back for small caps. The only thing holding us up. There goes Tesla. I want it to cross up. Okay, I'm looking at Palantir puts. The 110s. Get a nice little bounce in that territory. One little bounce. One little bounce. Coming to that exact entry. Go, go, go. Give me one little bounce. Reclaim that territory. Looking for an entry for the Palantir puts. Get one little push. Okay, I'll take the puts right there on Palantir. Risk is conservative. Risk is conservative. If you're waiting for that break back lower, you can continue to wait. See Palantir can start to break back lower. SPY retrace reject possibility. We need SPY retrace reject to take place. Okay, and the Palantir puts here. I took it in the face of strength. Apple, if SPY starts to wake up, Apple to the upside. Palantir is trying to bounce here. Apple has resistance at that PMH. See if Palantir can get that rejection. Palantir is trying to bounce off that 200 on the hourly. Apple, nice reclaim on Apple. Tesla continues to drop. If you're waiting for that break back lower, all right, on Palantir, you have to wait. All right, I said I want to take the break back lower, but again, I took the. That's been the biggest challenge for me. That's just my entries. All right, I've been kind of saying I want to start an entry, meaning take the break back lower. I want to take the break back lower, but for some reason this week I'm just obsessed with the come back into it and short it. All right, so my stop is here, close above that level on Palantir. Okay. All right, stubborn. My entries have been stubborn this week. All right, so Palantir, currently babysitting Palantir. Ideally, if we can hold below here, that'd be great. If SPY can start to fade, that'd be fantastic. All right, so risk has already been defined and allocated. Now it's a matter of letting it play out. All right, it's very difficult to short here, all right, because we're at that PML already. Palantir moving aggressive with that 5-minute hammer combo. Very, very aggressive on Palantir. So no close above that level. No close above conservative. If you took the Apple reclaim, good, good, good. Apple reclaim as SPY starts to correct to the upside. Worked out nicely. Qs are starting to go as well. Small caps starting to go as well. Palantir on the verge again, stopped out. On the verge again, stopped out here on Palantir. Immediate bounce on Palantir. Look at Apple. Anyone take Apple? Yeah, anyone take Apple? If you did, congratulations. Very close again, stopped on Palantir. No close above conservative. If SPY can start to fade here, that'd be great. SPY testing VWAP. SPY testing VWAP. Tesla fading. Tesla fading back to downside. Apple, nice break on Apple. What would be encouraging for Palantir, all right, before getting stopped, is a break back below that 129.86 territory. All right, buyers are trying to reclaim that 130 cycle level. So we want that to go south. We want them to fail that 130. If SPY can fall back under this territory, for the reclaim back to the downside, I'm looking at the 750s. Okay, 750s for the reclaim entry back to downside, targeting the lows of the day. If that can take place, I'll be there for it. I like the entry, I discussed taking. I'll take that entry. Tesla, nice breakdown on Tesla. How we doing, guys? How we doing? Took SPY 5-minute OR play. Beautiful job, Fido. Good. Good. 5-minute day for Fido. All right, so SPY gathering some fuel off that PML, all right? But can it get above this key zone? Can it get above that key zone? That's the number one question. Small caps. We got small caps. Small caps scale out. Scale out on small caps. If SPY can reclaim back the downside, I'll target the lows of the day. Come on, SPY. Start to push lower. Reclaim it back to downside. Fall back under PML. Okay, decisively. All right, candle closure. I like how the Qs are folding. Palantir coming back into play. Now look at Tesla, guys. Tesla. If anyone took Tesla, you're laughing to the bank. Anyone took Tesla, laughing to the bank. How we doing, guys? They're putting money in SpaceX. Good morning with news. Good morning. Done for the day. A whole 1 minute. Good. Good. Palantir, I want that 15-minute candle to flip and take out the open. All right, SPY, I want that close below PML. Okay, I want that close below PML. My risk on Palantir is to close above that territory up there. All right, I want to close below here. All right. Candle closure for entry. Apple continues to push. Qs, all right, they continues to get bought up off those lows. Okay, continues to get bought up off those lows. If you scalp this breakdown, you can get away with it into lows of the day. If you're holding position, conservative risk, you get stopped out. All right, the retrace reject off the key zone is you have to wait for price to come into this territory. Palantir is starting to gather itself. The last 3 minutes on Palantir will be critical. It's in sync with SPY. It's in sync with SPY. Okay, so you get that close on the 5 on Palantir above conservative. If we do, I'll get stopped out. Okay, they come and tap it. Okay, no closure on the 5 yet. Giving a little room. Okay, on the verge. Tesla looking nice as well. SPY, I'm looking at the 750s if we start to break down here. Okay, break below that PML. I'm going to target the lows of the day. Get some follow through. The Qs are starting to push lower. If you're waiting for the reclaim pop, keep a close eye on small caps. They're the only ones that have strength currently. They're the only ones that have strength. They're the only ones that have strength. Palantir, I gotta get stopped out there. So stopped out on Palantir. Okay, gave it a shot, stopped out as Palantir's getting bought up aggressively. So first trade, Palantir stopped out. Gave it a chance, but couldn't really get going. Apple continues to push. Tesla retrace reject. All right, if SPY starts to break. Walmart going south. That Apple push the upside was gorgeous. Nvidia trying to break down as well. SPY hanging on to dear life. Nice reclaim on small caps. SPY hanging on to dear life. Apple PMH retest. Nice break on Apple. Anyone take Apple? Beautiful job on Apple. Lynn. Walmart testing VWAP. Apple is the cleanest one. Okay, so I'm still on watch for SPY's breakdown. Okay, still on watch for SPY's breakdown. Apple is gorgeous, guys. Apple. That break on Apple was between Palantir and Apple. For me, decided to go with Palantir. Stopped out. Apple, nice push, and now we're starting to see some buyers rally off this PML. Q's starting to rally as well. Q's testing that PMH, testing that PML along with the VWAP. SPY currently above VWAP on the 15. See if you can hold above it. Right, the big victory is going to be here. Right, if there's legitimate buying, guys, if there's more than a dead cat bounce, we need the buyers to reclaim this key zone. In the event that we start to break down, okay, this bounce is going to really fuel Apple. In the event that we do break down, Tesla breakdown brewing. Small caps also going. Dow falling off a cliff. Good. How we doing on YouTube, guys? You know what? I say everybody one apple a day. Keep the doctor 100%. Apple is gorgeous. Let's get the likes up on YouTube, guys. Get the likes up. Make sure to like the video. First 30 minutes of the show in the books. If you're a first-time viewer, listener, you're joining from, long-time viewer, take the next step. Join our community. First-time viewers, continue to tune in, but make sure if you're a long-time, first-time, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you like every single time you jump in the stream. Right, those likes go a long way, and for the health of our channel. Small caps continue to push. Small caps and Apple continue to push. If Apple can give me that retest, count me in, coach. Put me in, coach. That PMH retest is coming. If you want that PMH and the VWAP, I want it to be a little deeper than that. I want that daily upside breaker and that shockwave. So I'm really interested to see what takes place here with SPY. All right, so we got that break below that key zone, separation to PML. Struggled to get below PML. Buyers picked this thing back up off PML, and now we're at this critical inflection point. All right, do we get that reclaim and head towards the highs of the day, eventually PMH, or do we fade back lower and head back towards the lows of the day? The fact that Walmart has fallen off a cliff is very telling. Apple, PMH and VWAP retest brewing. Yeah, good cut on Palantir. That 200 EMA was acting as support on the hourly. Was wrong there. So critical juncture here. Q's testing VWAP. Again, small caps continue to outperform. Small caps continue to outperform. They continue to be the stellar name. Palantir had weekly puts. I'm out double up $50. Good. Apple pulling back into that PMH. Okay, where I want Apple is here. Okay, this is where I want Apple. But can't deny Apple is going to test VWAP. The VWAP and PMH test is here. Okay, so the shallow retest just took place. Apple already went to TP2, so if you caught Apple, you can very well be done for the day. Walmart is sliding. Nvidia is holding the very lows. Okay, very close to those lows. No trades on SPY yet. So pullback bounce on Apple, pullback bounce on small caps. Nothing much on SPY or the Qs. Qs, they're flirting with VWAP currently. They're having a long discussion with VWAP. We have that PML and that VWAP retrace reject bear flag brew on Amazon. Okay. SPY is above VWAP. SPY is above VWAP, so you can stay above it. And separation away from that key zone. That key zone separation will be critical. Okay, separation away from that key zone will be critical. So SPY and small caps are the only ones above VWAP, and it looks like the Qs are above VWAP currently. All right, so let's see if we can start to make a push above VWAP. Okay, MU bounced off those lows. MU's headed towards the highs of the day. Look at that bounce on MU. AMD, same thing. Aggressive bounce off that PML on AMD. Intel, same thing. So a lot of those names got bought off those lows after dumping. Broadcom, same thing. Okay, same thing for those names. Nvidia, can't say the same about Nvidia. TSM, okay, TSM did report earnings. Watch that IV. Okay, that bear flag could possibly start to break down on Amazon. Okay, starting to reject off that VWAP. Targeting the lows of the day. Okay, Apple is coming back in, so see if it can show me some signs of life. I want to reclaim back the upside. All right, so the straightforward just drop catch or spike catch, I'll avoid that. All right, so that's cost me some this week. All right, so I'll wait for the proper entry instead of catching that falling drop and falling knife. If you can get back above that level, if you can resurface back above that level, count me in on Apple. Okay, so I have my alert set on Apple. Right, these entries for this week for me have been a little stubborn on the entries. All right, taking the initial push into that level, tap of that level rather than waiting for it to reclaim and then fall back under it. So I did a better job with SPY waiting instead of catching it right, trying to take it right there. In the event I took it there, I'll just get stopped out. But I did the same thing on Palantir. So see if Apple can pop above those highs. If we can, that'd be great. Still has some selling on the 5. Okay, I'll take Apple right there. Okay, see if Apple can continue to push. Hold that VWAP. Targeting that PMH initially on Apple. So I'm in the Apple calls here. SPY's headed towards the highs of the day. There's still some selling on Apple on the 15. Still some selling on Apple on the 15. Close below conservative will be my risk. It's a very tight range, so that stop is going to be very tight. Okay. So see if Apple can start to resurface. We have that daily upside breaker there. We have a lot of things in that territory. We have a lot of things in that territory. So I want to see buyers to defend that area. If it closes below conservative, I have to get stopped out. Okay, Apple sliding. I got to cut it there. So stopped out on Apple. All right, couldn't get anything on Apple. Stopped out 22%. Okay, just can't seem to get anything to work this past few days. SPY coming up to those highs. Apple falling off a cliff. If Apple can come back, I can possibly re-engage. I'll have my alert on Apple. So Palantir stop out, Apple stop out. Okay, now Qs are starting to pump. Small caps continue to push. So it came down to the small caps and Apple. What else? Nvidia's back to VWAP. Nasty drop on Apple. Okay, see if we get some legitimacy behind that break. At least here, 63%. The score, 63% if we get a signal. Nasty drop on Apple. Okay, so see SPY can hold that territory. All right, and so now from here, from this midpoint, okay, we have some traffic, but it's can it hold that and get the VWAP? I'll keep a close eye on Apple for the reclaim. If you can get that reclaim, I'll double dip on Apple after getting stopped out. Okay, it has to establish control back above the VWAP. Bouncing off that daily open, see if it has enough force to pop its head back up above that daily upside breaker and pop its head back above that initial call trigger. And what's encouraging is the fact that Walmart has fallen off a cliff. Small caps continue to lead the way, guys. Small caps continue to lead the way. SPY V-shaped recovery off the PML after dumping into PML. Tesla going the other way as well. Full circle on Tesla. So this was the Apple trade. So Apple. Okay, wanted to see if I can get a nice little bounce off this area. Got the hammer, got the break, and then just faded. All right, so Apple stopped out here, very tight stop. PLTR. PLTR also, all right. PLTR stopped out here as well. Stopped out on this break and hold. And Apple. No trades on SPY yet. Something I have on watch is Apple reclaim. Runner stopped at 40%. Beautiful job, Lynn. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So SPY, tit for tat. We got that drop. We got that pop. Tit for tat on SPY. Small caps continue to run. 5-minute candle on Apple still inside. Still some selling on the 15. There's still some selling pressure on the 15. Tesla the other way. Tesla going the other way. So Tesla provides a scalp to the downside, and then now it's breaking the upside. Tesla did sell off aggressively yesterday and had a last minute pop the upside during power hour. So see if Tesla can hold above those highs. More than likely needs a help from a SPY. So a little bit of more confidence here, right? 7 out of 10 confidence on SPY if we get that nice break. See if the Qs can join as well. We're waiting for the Qs. Small caps doing their thing. No signal yet on SPY. No signal yet on SPY. So 2 trades so far today, guys. 2 stop outs. Tesla retest. So what's happening this week is the retracements are deeper. All right, it's a deeper retracement. It's a deeper pullback. And there's no follow behind. There's no true follow through behind the expansion. All right, so what that leads to is no stop outs. So you have to have basically an entry model that requires a lot of, that has more criteria. More criteria behind the entries. Okay, Tesla, nice bounce on Tesla. Let's see if Tesla has some more room to push. More than likely, Tesla needs that break. If Tesla can get the break, if SPY can get the break, that can help Tesla. Qs can get the break, that can help Tesla. Tesla, nice bounce. See Tesla starting to push. Apple trying to resurface. Apple trying to resurface. 1 minute flag on Tesla. SPY trying to go as well. 73%. Okay. Looking better, but keep in mind in these conditions, the expansions to the upside have been tricky. Okay, been very, very trappy. We are at the TOG, so we filled the gap. The gap has been filled. We're at the TOG, the gap has been filled. See if SPY can pull in just a little bit. I'm looking at the 754s on SPY. That weekly open is right there as well. Okay, resurface back above it. Okay, I'll take SPY right there. Let's see if I can get something to work in my favor. Stop all the way here. Okay, and the SPY calls here. Again, just a little impatient once again. See if we can recapture that top. If the Qs can hold above weekly open, that can give me a little bit of confidence. SPY has some work to do here. Keep a close eye on that 5 minute. That 5 minute looks like it wants to go bearish engulfing. So we need this thing to really start to work the upside. All right, because the big danger here is have no expansion, double top. All right, so we need SPY to start to pick up some speed here. We need the Qs to hold above that daily open, that monthly, weekly 50% retrace. Okay, so we need SPY to get back above that initial trigger, 753.52, and see if we can start to go, because this is what I'm looking to capitalize off of. The big danger and validation marker, top of the gap and double top. All right, so this is turn to liquidity grab and drop all the way back lower. If it does, my stop is right there. In the meantime, I just have to manage the position. Okay, so critical juncture here. Okay. If it breaks those lows on the 5, it can go bearish engulfing. All right, we just need the Qs to stabilize here. That would be great. See if SPY can start to push. Okay, starting to push here. A lot of whipsaw action in this area. Tesla, nice bounce on Tesla for the flag. If you took Tesla, manage accordingly. Okay, SPY, finally SPY. Finally. Okay, keep that continued push on SPY. If you did take this, manage accordingly. Up 14. Okay, we're taking majority off right there at 13. Fill that 14. Okay, down to runners. Up 17. Stay above those highs. If you took Tesla, looks like Tesla was a better trade than SPY, but I like SPY. See if SPY can continue to push. Up 21. Finally. Good old SPY. Good old SPY. We'll look at the Qs. Qs holding that level. So now let's see if SPY can stay above these highs. Okay, up 20 plus. If you did take that, manage accordingly. If you TP'd already, congratulations. Okay, I want these highs to be respected because everything is so fickle. All right, I want these highs that we just got above, okay, to hold up. Okay, so I don't want to see it close back below here. All right, so I'll risk those runners to see if there's more follow through behind that move. What is discouraging is the Qs. The Qs, that was a nasty trap on the Qs. Okay, the Qs just wicked. Look at that, guys. Qs just wicked so aggressively. So good TP. See if SPY can bounce off that major level. If it can, great. If it doesn't, I'll get stopped out. Our stop will be very close to break even. See if you can bounce off of that. Look how ugly the action is up there. Look at the candles. All right, so make sure you're proficient in your TPs. If we can get one more push into these highs, that'd be great. Let's see if we can get that one more little bounce in this area. So no close below here. Our runner is currently up 4 or 5%. Nvidia rejecting out VWAP. The problem is, guys, look at the Qs. Qs just falling off a cliff. Okay, I'll close SPY right there. Those runners about 2-3%. All right, so close to break even. So a quick scalp on SPY. No real follow through behind it. No scale out. Decided to take it. Qs falling off a cliff. A little discouraging there. All right, so 3 trades. So 3 trades. On that note, Apple breaking out. So if you took Apple, all right, if you took Apple at the upside, all right, the resurface back above that level, great. Right, it looks like I shifted my focus to SPY. So quick scalp on SPY, double digit, stopped out on runners, single digit. Now it looks like it looks like Apple is pushing now. Apple is pushing. Okay. Stopped at 15% calls. That was hard, 100%. SPY Q day for me, good. Nvidia next up. Yeah, so SPY just can't, just the fact that the Q just completely folded under that daily open. All right, if they can hold VWAP, SPY might still have a chance to continue to push. But who knows how much back and forth takes place in this area. All right, we're getting a little top heavy in resistance. All right, so it's good to secure that profit. If the Qs have a legitimate push off that VWAP, can get back above that weekly 50% retrace, SPY has a chance. All right, what I mean by a chance to get back the highs of the day or make new highs. All right, it's going to be predicated on what the Qs do after testing VWAP. Can they get back above that weekly 50% retrace? Okay, Tesla testing that level. Okay. It's been a tricky week, guys. I would say probably this is the trickiest week I've experienced. It could be maybe I'm just using very stubborn entries, all right? And that's what's making it more difficult. So it doesn't help the fact I'm making the job a little more difficult for myself, all right? Kind of forcing some entries. But overall, it's been a tricky week with the action, right? It doesn't mean it's impossible to navigate it, but it's been tricky. So if you're a little bit sharp, if you're not as clean as you want to be, if you're a little bit sloppy on your entries, all right, it will make you pay. All right, on top of that, it's been very choppy this week. Okay, look how the Qs are starting to course correct. If you're still in SPY, you have conviction. If you're just fixing your risk to that territory, you took some off and you're just having that risk here, maybe you can get a push into that PM, into that I was going to say all-time high, into the highs of the day. Apple, all right, Apple once again, okay, kind of just under the radar move. Okay, so this is what I mean by just my entries not being on point. Okay, so the one that I took is this one right here. All right, kind of just not front running shockwave, and then when that comes into play, it says take the calls right here. So I took this one, stopped out. If I just wait a little bit more, if I'm just a little patient, it will tell me when to take the calls. Okay, so that's been the name. That's been the name of the game. Tesla provided scale out. Okay, Tesla gave that scale out opportunity. Qs continue to drop. Okay, so Apple off that PML reclaim, SPY off that PML reclaim has been grinding higher, right? And it's basically using this support as its guide. And then now, on top of that, let's mark up the highs. We got this high, we got higher high. Okay, so that's kind of the way we're going. That's kind of the way we're going. Double dip Apple. Beautiful job, Lynn. Great job on being patient. Great job on being patient. Waited for the reclaim. Once the reclaim, start to go. All right, so you wait for the 5 minute to clear out on the selling. Let all the sellers finish. Let the buyers want to take profit, finish taking profit, and then once it starts to show some signs of life, reload. Okay, so Apple, nice push on Apple. What's really weighing down SPY is the Qs. Can the Qs hold view up? If they fail to hold view up, more than likely SPY starts to put some pressure on that daily open. Okay, SPY starts to put some pressure on that daily open. Okay, if SPY can start to go, Tesla reclaim. Possible. I want to see a signal. Let me see if I can get one more trade off with Tesla. Reclaim on Tesla brewing. Okay, calls coming in on Tesla. Okay. All right, resurface, basically coming back to life. So reclaim on Tesla off that PMH bounce. Okay. See if Tesla can start to go. Official signal on SPY comes in right here. Tesla starting to move. If you're scalping Tesla, TP if you need to. If you're holding runners or holding full position into highs of the day, 394.12 is your magic number. Look at the Qs. Qs are starting to go doji on the 15. See if they can flip that 15. SPY starting to push. Tesla, nice push on Tesla, nice push on SPY. Okay, that's all had to do with the Qs bouncing off that view up. It took some time. Okay, but you finally got that scale out if you're looking for that scale out on SPY. And the big thing is, guys, separation into what? PMH. All right, that's what we discussed this morning. All right, the three most important levels this morning were this key zone, and what kind of separation do we get? We get the drop below that key zone territory. Okay, in this area, we get a PML. When we get the PML, okay, do buyers start stepping in? Or to get that continued selling, buyer step in, push it back higher. Now we get that separation, reclaim this key zone, and now we start to break, okay, the opening range, and now we're headed to PMH. So same kind of question needs to be answered, okay, that we posed down here. Tesla, look at that push on Tesla. Anyone catch Tesla? Tesla to the upside. That thing is gone, guys. That's a $2 move on Tesla. $2 move on Tesla. All out SPY, 15%. Beautiful job. Real quiet. RQ. Okay. This is Tesla. Same thing. Wait for the reclaim to resurface. So you get the signal here, shockwave, okay? You have an opportunity to take profits, about close to $2 a runaway. You let it drop, bounce off that PMH, and it tells you to take the calls right there. And then now Tesla's up close to $3. All right, if Tesla can get above that PMH, okay, can really start to run. But that PMH can cause a little bit of issues, so just be mindful of that. As SPY heads towards PMH. So you can use your PMH as your target on Tesla. So outside of Tesla, Apple, small caps, and SPY, which did present one opportunity, there hasn't been much. Qs have been tough. SPY finally gave a nice call, push the upside for a scale out. All right, officially, that's the end of first shift, guys. First shift took 3 trades: Palantir, Apple, and SPY. So first 2 trades stopped out. Second one worked in our favor on SPY for a scalp. So let us know you did in first shift, guys. Who's done for the day? If you're getting stopped out, again, don't get discouraged. Don't let the frustration boil over and force you to take some more trades. Okay, for me, it hasn't been my best week of execution. All right, I haven't been taking the best entries, but still doing my best to manage the risk and do my best to take profits when profits are there for the taking. All right, so make an entry in your journal, guys. First shift is in the books. Let us know you did in first shift. If you're done for the day, tomorrow, keep in mind, guys, tomorrow's ramp down Friday. So you're going to close the week as strong as possible. See if SPY can stay above that weekly open right there. Right on the hourly, you can see we're testing that weekly open. So we are in the midst of that runway between that weekly open and that daily upside breaker on SPY. Apple starting to wave. Continues to push. Tesla, look for that lower high as it continues to grind higher. So let us know you did, guys. Let us know how you did during the first hour. Okay. Let us know how you did. Let's get the likes up as well. Let's get the likes up, guys. Make sure to like the video on YouTube. I took Tesla. Beautiful job, Vanus. Anyone take Tesla? Anyone else take Tesla? We have 160 people join us this morning. Let us know you're joining from in the chat. And make sure to like the video, okay? Let's get the likes up. Google, potential full circle on Google. Apple headed towards the highs of the day. Tesla struggling a little before that PMH. SPY headed towards PMH. Hourly candle on SPY looks strong. 50-minute candle on SPY looks strong. Small caps continue to lead the way. So in order, small caps, okay, are the strongest. Behind that is SPY. Behind that is a Dow. And the laggard is mega cap tech. Okay, so we're officially in second shift, guys. Right, so we can potentially see some chop. So the opportunity that came to fruition during first might be as good as it gets. All right, so if you were in alignment with the market, you allocated risk, you had decent entries, you should be on the green side. Waves are starting to wave on Tesla. See if we can come into a third wave. SPY struggling at this TOG, so the gap. Yeah, so today's gap actually. So it came with the jaws of the gap from this morning. And then just fill the gap up here. Just fill the gap from this morning. So struggling at that TOG. First wave test on Tesla. If you're on the 1, okay, if SPY continues to push, Qs continue to push, knock out those 15-minute highs, 1 minute flag on Tesla possibly brewing. If you're on the 5, double inside, continue to wait. Right, and to mitigate all this chop, guys, we're going to go over to the 5. Okay, to block out some of that noise, all right? So let's go over to the 5 during second shift, all right? So you don't get caught up in the noise we're going to take a look at SPY on the 5. All right, when in doubt, zoom out. So this is what we've done so far. Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of a drop. Okay, reversal, and then 5, 10, 15 minute push with the inside candle. And then now we went doji, bullish, bearish, last minute push to hammer, bullish, bearish. So we're going tit for tat. What are we looking to push into? PMH. PMH is right there. And that daily upside breaker team is right here. Weekly upside breaker, daily upside breaker, all right there. Okay, we just need the Qs to get themselves together. The Qs just hold above. The Qs can stay inside on the 15. Just hold above that 71201. If they can do that, that'd be great. I'll buy SPY just enough time. Small caps pull them back slightly. So mute a little bit of the noise on the 5. Tesla 84%. Beautiful job. Was that on that bounce? Devil dog off that PMH, or was that earlier? Possibly earlier. That can possibly be the VWAP reclaim or that PMH bounce for 84. If I had to guess. If I had to guess, that's probably what it would be. So Qs continue to push here. See the Qs continue to push, sustain that push. Earlier, nice. We're struggling at that TOG on SPY. Top of the gap, 84% for Devil Dog. You've been smacking Tesla this week. Just traded Apple up 8%. Beautiful job. Meta up 40%. Good. Done for the day. Did my daily target 2 trade SPY calls. Gorgeous. Good. So first hour of the day is in the books. I'm not sure how these gifts work, but I do appreciate the gift. BT6305. So that TOG giving us some difficulty. Tesla's the one that took down my account, coming back for blood. Love to hear it. Strategically coming back. Yeah, Tesla's a animal, all right? Tesla's a different kind of animal. When you start to learn how to ride Tesla, use Tesla. Out to Tesla is the wrong. If you're starting to get into trading, Tesla is difficult name to learn on. Very painful name to learn on. All right, start with SPY. Start with small caps. I'll even say start with small caps, and then work your way out, or work your way up. So put in the chat, what is the one ticker that's been your kryptonite during your trading career? And what is the one ticker that's been your go-to? Okay, one ticker that you love to trade. It can be an index, and one ticker that you learn a lot of harsh lessons on. So we're seeing a nice little 10-minute sequence of a sell, grabbing first shift highs. Just slightly before at PMH. SNDK looking to break one more time for that break the downside. What else? What else? What else? MU continues to get clobbered. MU had that nice little bounce. Gets above that daily level. Slides back to the downside. Scale out on MU if you took it. AMD. AMD's just been a chop fest. Okay, zigzag. Intel. Okay, drops, pumps on the verge of a drop. Testing that PML. Nvidia, not much there. TSM, Palantir. Okay, good cut on Palantir because Palantir is out of here. All right, Palantir is out of here, so good cut on Palantir. JPM, we got Walmart. Walmart did show some signs of promise early. Walmart is range bound. No break on Walmart. If Tesla can pay a visit to that 392.34, 392.35 territory, keep a close eye on that area for a bounce. Okay, Amazon starting to push. Nvidia looks like it wants to drop. But Nvidia's been a little sketchy. Okay, Palantir continue to push, reclaim with that VWAP. SPY, that hourly candle closes. It's closed in 17 minutes. All right, so we're having success on the hourly. The hourly is still above that initial, that weekly open. So the hourly, okay, still above that weekly open. So as long as the Qs remain above VWAP, and as long as the Qs can stay relatively close to that weekly 50% retrace and daily open, SPY can grind higher. As long, if the Dow can push higher, right? If the Qs can get themselves together and get above 713.60, that's going to take SPY over the top. All right, so grind higher scheduled for SPY. Slow grind higher as long as Qs stay above VWAP and remain above 712 territory. If the Qs start to really rally off this area, start to push higher and get into the jaws of this wick here on the 15, 712s, high 712s, low 713s, and then start to get to 713.60. Okay, then we can see a nice push on SPY. SPY is quickly approaching that PMH. Get a nice little bounce on the one on SPY. Off the second wave as it approaches PMH. So nice clean. The trend is starting to clean up on the one. So far we've tested first wave, second wave. First wave, second wave. Advanced money destroyer, yeah. MU, yeah, me too. AMD. I haven't traded AMD. Once the IV comes back to normal, I'll address AMD. But I have not traded AMD in years, and that was a ticker that I learned a lot on. MU still owes me from 2020, and IW has been wonderful 90% of the time. Good. IW, yeah, you've been crushing IW. Lynn. Anyone else? I think AMD is a very common one. Meta, yeah, I'll take a look at Meta here shortly. Done for the day. Met my daily goal and more. God bless you all. God bless you too, Rob. Began 940. Tesla, special type of animal, but I love it. SPY and Tesla, SPY and SPY. Then around 1016. Oh, crypto, yeah, the crypto fiasco. Right, all those coins. Tesla's been the easiest since day one by waiting for consolidation. Microsoft, Meta always have jacked me up. I wouldn't bet on Apple for puts. Tesla's unpredictable. Apple more predictable. I've been trying to stay away from puts for the last 2 weeks on Apple. Today is no good for puts. The Apple trade it was less than 5 minutes. All right, for me it was less than 5 minutes and I got stopped out. Bloom Energy, crypto cost me 200K. Yeah, the crypto fiasco, I mean, it was undeniable. There was so much going on with crypto. Right, so much pumps, so many people talk about crypto. I never really got into crypto. I'm aware of it. I had a chance to get into Bitcoin very, very early, but right. A lot of times we say, hey, you know what? I heard about this at a certain time. But back then, to get into it, you had to know how to store the coins in a wallet. You had to. It wasn't readily available. All right. When I heard about Bitcoin through a friend, right, who was in the space, he was actually a hacker, right? I heard maybe in 2012. Okay, so 2012. But even if I wanted to get into it, I wasn't technically savvy enough then to get into it. So that's just, it's synthetic FOMO. Like I like to say, it's not practical to have FOMO from then. All right. Tesla continues to push. Nortel 500K. So I don't think I was there for Nortel. So we're going to get those, even in the market, we're going to get those fads that come around. The longer you do this, the more cycles you'll see. The most recent one we saw is the EVs, right? We saw the EVs, right? If you recall, even going back to COVID, remember Nikola was on the market. You had, of course, Tesla being a prominent name. You had names like NIO, Lucid, so many different names during that time, and the EV market just completely got crushed and disappeared. Right? That's not even a thing anymore. We had the NFTs, all right, where they convinced everyone to buy basically JPEGs. Okay, all right. Just buy a JPEG and it has value. Remember, they were talking about real estate and the metaverse, virtual real estate. These are actual things, right? So, of course, we have the luxury of hindsight to say what worked, what didn't, but the signs were at the top is when you start to see or you start to hear about all these new asset classes coming into play, because there's such an appetite for greed, right? The appetite for greed is so high that everyone is looking for any kind of opportunity. All right, there's so much greed, there's so much euphoria. All right, whatever gets thrown out there will stick for the time being, and it's just hot potato. Right? It just you keep passing the hot potato, and you don't want to be the one who's holding the hot potato at the very end. Right? Can you get lucky in those things? But the only way you get lucky is if you realize your profits. To be in early and realize the profit. But if you're left bag holding, the odds of being lucky or the odds of being the winner are not in your favor. Nvidia's starting to break down here. You can see on the 5 we're starting to break. This is what it looks like on the 1. This is what it translates to on the 1. Okay, so if you take a look at the 5 on SPY, so you can see, I want you to start to see this, guys, because you should be able to see this double top. Okay, these wicks on the 5 translate to double top on the 1. Okay, just before that PMH. So now SPY has found a nice area to chop around. Okay, so between this key zone that we discussed and that PMH, all right, that's where we're basically stuck between those areas. And between that, we have this shockwave level. All right. Between there, we have a shockwave level. Okay, so, well, that's a sign. That's a sign that we're at the very, very top. Now, NVIDIA breaking down. Semi's breaking down once again. SNDK falling off a cliff. So we don't have anything like that currently. You can make the argument AI, but I don't think AI. All right, there's too much money being spent by the big players. Too much capex is allocated to AI for it to be. Can it be overvalued? Sure, but for it to be a bubble within itself that just pops and there's nothing left. All right, I don't think that's there because of the amount of capex. So all the big companies have to be wrong. Apple puts, good. See profit, take profit, yes. See profit, take profit. Okay. The problem with that is you're going to have some FOMO. Okay, you're going to have some FOMO at times, but the good thing is you're going to be stacking your profits regardless of the conditions. I have a question for you, George. Check out Tesla. Yeah, the NFTs. That was, to me, that was a clear one. Of course, it's easy to say it's a clear one, but I never really understood. All right, it's like, why can't I take a screenshot of your NFT? Right. All right, but they try to give some reasoning. Yeah, okay, you have access to it. It cannot be duplicated. Let's take a look at your question. I got a question for you, George. Check out highest volume in the money example through any strike calls. 25,000 contracts traded. Highest volume in the money puts. Strike 12,000 in the money. Other higher since the market is good with reverse psychology. I'm thinking they're gonna take Tenga to knock all those people out. Possibly, if you play like contract arbitrage, if you try to look for discrepancies in contracts. That can be a possibility. Right, but the only difficult thing is, you don't know when those contracts are getting sold for profit. You don't know when those contracts, if those contracts are actually going to be exercised. All right, so you can extract data from that, but you don't know the true intention of those contracts because the whales can always exercise the contracts. Right? We are just using the contracts as a means to an end for leverage. But say if they have 1,000 contracts of Tesla calls, and those calls are getting hammered, right? They can just use those calls, exercise those calls, and buy Tesla outright. Right, so that's the tricky thing with option chain arbitrage. But there are some discrepancies. There are some things you can see that you can utilize. Today's expiration. Do they have, so the expirations are for tomorrow for Tesla, unless you're looking at. I got the 17th here, so let's take a look at those contracts, actually. You said the 390 strike calls. And the 400 strike puts. Okay, let's pull up on the screen. Let's pull it up on the screen. Okay, let's pull it up on the screen. Okay, so 390 calls. Okay, 390 calls. You have about 35 volume. You take a look at the volume or the open interest, and then you have I have the volume here, and then you have the 400s 19. All right, so the 390s at this point with Tesla are, where's Tesla? Tesla, the 390s are deep in the money. All right, so there might be, if it does drop, there might be a lot of demand at that 390. That's what I would read. That's how I would read it. All right, maybe a $4 or $5 drop into the 390, below 390, and then reclaim 390. There's a lot of calls there. They're going to protect that, push back the upside. All right, so there's multiple ways to interpret it. There's absolutely no AI bubble. For a bubble to be a bubble, you have to have something that doesn't work and will inevitably fail 100%. I second that, doctor. People just know how to poorly utilize it, so they think it's stupid. Valuations may be high, but I promise in 10 years, people will look back and wonder how anyone ever doubted it. We're seeing that take place in real time now. All right, and I think the fact that the bubble talk kind of comes in, so people, everyday people kind of get scared and don't get invested. Don't. I would say this: the fear shouldn't be getting replaced by AI. The fear should be not having invested in AI. Okay, so getting replaced by AI. All right, that's what they shove people. That's what they shove down everyone's throat. All right, you can easily mitigate that. You can get trained, all right, and you can learn how to do your job, and you can learn how to use AI as well. So you can. The good thing is, there's ways around that if you're willing to put in the work, right? But on the other side, I would say it's worse to miss the AI boat 15, 20 years from now, and it actually turns out to be that's the bigger fear. So that for the everyday people, they're just putting you in this paralyzed state. All right, they're telling you AI is going to replace you, so you're paralyzed on that side, and they're telling you where AI is a bubble. All right, so you're paralyzed to even get trained. You're living out of fear, and you're too scared to invest. So what ends up happening is you lose on both ends. Okay, so 15 years from now, you're not invested in AI, and you got replaced by AI. Okay, but the replaced by AI, that's you can mitigate that. Trust me, guys. All right, you can get trained, you can learn how to use AI, you can get these tools, you can get the resources, and you can equip yourself with the new world. But the missing the investment, once it's gone, is gone. Okay, nice call. Finally starting to clean up here. Nice calls to the upside there on SPY. All right, but what they want to cause is you to be paralyzed. All right, they want you to be in a constant state of fear. Okay, so now you don't do anything. All right, is that a little bit of a paranoid thinking? Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you have to be a little paranoid. Healthy level of paranoia is necessary to survive. Okay, it'll keep you alive. Even the internet during .com, right? .com bubble popped, but the names that survived .com, if you didn't pivot off your investment, unless you got those newer names that were hot, right? If you picked up the right names, I mean, you're up big, right? So you just don't want to get caught up in the frenzy. especially if you're thinking long term. Just don't get caught up in the frenzy. That's why you have to have the ability to separate in your mind. Just think of day trading as a completely different business than long term investing. They're two different things. Okay, it's like just to the point where it's almost like one is like running a restaurant, another one is basically you have a furniture store. Two different businesses. Because the thing is, if you start to intertwine those two things, all right, you will lose on both sides. You can't think like a long-term investor while you're day trading. That side of your brain will get you crushed. You'll hold too long. Your contracts go to zero. You can't think like a day trader when long-term investing. You won't have the ability to not look at the charts and see the bigger picture and play the thesis over the action you're seeing and block out the noise. All right, so just think of those things as completely different businesses. Even swing trading, think of that as a completely different business. All right, completely different business. All right, so day trading in this corner, swing trading in this corner, long-term investing in a different corner. And I would say that would be the best approach to have. As SPY cracked 755, we're squeezing to 760, 755. We're getting close. 755 is closely correlated with that, just slightly above that pre-market high. Tesla chopping around as well. Tesla hanging out below PMH. Nvidia is the last one to break down. SPY did provide a nice little bounce if you have shockwave. Okay, VIX hanging at the lows of the day. So we're basically just range bound here, guys. Second shift, the chop is real. So first shift took 3 trades, 2 stop outs. It's 1 SPY trade. Let's get the likes up, guys. We've been a little light on the likes. Okay, let's get the likes up. And next week we do have FOMC. We do have FOMC next week, so we will do a marathon stream next week. Okay, so who's done for the day, guys? Nvidia retrace, reject possibly. Just about during first shift, all right, is requiring being sharp and at the same time having the clean entries. Being sharp meaning just being present. All right, if you're kind of out of sync, if you're not using the proper entries, you're gonna get stopped out. And waiting for signals as well, waiting for shockwave to give you the signal. Inside on the 5 here, inside on the hourly. So new hourly candle coming up. SPY testing that 9 on the 15. So there is anything I love here. .com was different though because they did not know how to initially monetize internet outside of ISPs. Yeah, internet service providers. Same thing. When Facebook came around, they didn't know how to monetize. All right. With AI, there's already several ways to monetize. A lot of these AI providers, of course, they have premium product, right? So you can pay for the premium. The ones that provide free services, there's a limit to it, and on top of that, more than likely they're going to have do the simple thing of feeding that data to advertisers and eventually having ads. It's almost like when Facebook came around, all right, and it had a premium version where you had to pay for it, and there's a free version. So right out the gate, they're monetizing already. Okay, they're already monetizing, or they're quick to get it monetized for users. All right, for users. Exactly, 100% a doctor. So that's already baked in. So they're already while they're figuring it out, they're already making money. All right, the freemium model. Right, that's been the companies have been using that. Nvidia's headed towards the lows of is at the lows of the day, heading towards TP1. Who's loving the action this week? Who's loving the action this week? Or who's despising the action this week, guys? If you're having a tough week, I myself am having a tough week. All right. Don't get into the position where the market is the excuse. All right. Don't put the burden on the market. See what areas you can improve. I have to see what areas I can improve. For some reason, I've just been very stubborn on the entries I'm taking. All right. So the good thing is, all right, it's something you can fix. All right. You can't fix the market. All right. But if it's something that you're a little bit off, you can always address. You can always improve. You can always improve. Apple looking to test that VWAP. Apple looking to test that VWAP. I gotta leave the chat. I got a doctor's appointment. I gotta get ready for it. I'll leave with fun fact about Apple. Absolutely, good luck on your appointment. The last 8 Fridays going into power hour. 50% of the time, Apple declined. The last 8 Mondays, Apple has rallied 7 times, only declined once. Nice. Thank you for the fact of the day. SPY going to VWAP. SPY testing this territory, this major level here, major zone. So the primary thing for us today was, all right, we're trading inside prior day's range. We had the PMH. Okay, we discussed this in pre-market. We had that PML. And then we had this key zone in between. Okay. So I myself could have done a better job, not only today, but this week, following the game plan. All right, so big thing was, of course, we opened up the retrace reject into this area. Once we get into this area, we're tasked with seeing what opportunities are there. Do we continue to push lower, or do buyers pick this thing back up, push it back higher? Okay, so let's do it like this. All right, so this has just basically been the recipe. Do we push lower, or do we push back higher? So it's basically you want to engage in one of these 3 areas. You gotta make those decisions. So we dump, we come into this territory, we bounce, and then now we come into this area. All right, do we have enough fuel to reclaim? Okay, or do we start to reject, head back to the downside? Okay, so what do? We push all the way back up. So this does not come into play. And as that comes into play, now we're tasked with that PMH. Okay, do we expand outside of PMH? Or do we revert back to this area? Okay, so what's happening is we're reverting back to this area. So now again, the question is, as we revert back to this area, okay, do we bounce off this area, get back to PMH, give a PMH run for its money, or does a bottom fall out and then we make a push back to that PML? So basically, easier said than done, all right? But basically, that's where you want to keep your ideas, your entries, and your trade ideas basically as close as possible to these levels. Anything in between, there's a lot of wiki action. Okay, and that was basically the plan, the game plan for this morning. And so those three areas are what price is playing with, and we're inside. We're inside, guys. All right, we're inside. Midday chop salad for lunch. Nvidia 204. All right, so this is a stock pickers market. Nvidia 204 is possible on Nvidia, but it needs to get below this daily downside breaker, prior day's lows. All right, if you have your entry based off this last break via shockwave, if you took the puts there, using the indicator, okay, you take the puts at 207.47. Okay, then you have some, if you still say you have runners, you have some room to try to get those runners into these lows, but to open up a position right there, okay, will be tricky. All right, that's very possible if we can slice and dice to a daily downside breaker. It's a nice breakdown in the video. Okay. This is July, guys. July. And this shall pass too, okay? Before you know it, July will fly. We'll be in August. We'll be in September. We'll be in October. We'll be Santa Claus rally. We'll be providing all that coverage. The goal is, God willing, to provide 252 episodes so you guys have a full cycle. All right, for basically 2 years. All right, so 600 plus, 500 plus days. Close to 600 days. All right, available to you. Trading everything. And I believe there was only one or two times I can count. I know it's at least once where we didn't take a trade. Once. Nvidia's going. See if Nvidia can continue to slice and dice. Slice and dice below that. There's a lot of selling on the 15 still. Beautiful job, 6-0. Good. SPY going to test that VWAP. Tesla testing that initial breaker, testing that daily open as well. SPY bounces off VWAP, more than likely Tesla will find a home off that level and start to bounce as well. There goes Nvidia. There you go, 6-0. Gorgeous. Okay, see that 15 can hold. Still has about 10 seconds left. So the closer that 15 closes to those lows on Nvidia, the shorter path the bears have to drop it into the lows of the day. All right, so now you're on SPY to stay below that BOG, and you're on Nvidia to start to head towards that 205.86. We're seeing buyers trying to step in off that daily downside breaker. All right, they're trying. They're trying. They're giving it an effort. If the buying gets absorbed, look at Nvidia here. They're trying to buy it off those lows, right? So you want them to get all the buying to get absorbed. So if your entry is all the way up here in this territory, all right, you have some room for error. You have some margin of error. All right, for the buyers to mount a reversal, they're going to have to knock out these highs up here. All right, so even if they do get a nice little bounce, they get a nice little dead cat bounce. Okay, that is a nice scalp trade, nice trade to the upside, but it won't be sufficient unless they knock out these highs. Okay, so selling pressure still continues to push it lower. If SPY starts to slide to the downside, knocks out VWAP, then NVIDIA might have a chance to knock out the lows of the day. And keep in mind on the 15-minute, if we break below these lows, the selling pressure continues. And we're just at prior day's lows. So do we have more selling pressure down there, or do buyers try to get that dip by opportunity? That's the $1 million question. What would help in this case if a SPY slices and dices through the VWAP? So keep a close eye on those two things. Keep a close eye on those two things, okay? Put in the chat, does SPY bounce off VWAP, or do we fold? Do we hold or fold? Great job today. I like the newcomer, George, back in late May and early June. You sounded like an auctioneer. I thought I was watching Storage Wars. There was the reason why I probably sound like an auctioneer is because of the amount of movement there is. There isn't much to talk about now. All right, there isn't much to talk about now. So that basically correlates to that to the amount of opportunities or lack thereof in comparison to May. Okay, chop, chop, chop. Inside on the hourly. Buyers defending that VWAP. Okay, as SPY bounced off that VWAP, Tesla catching a bit off that level as well. You can see Tesla bouncing for a scalp. If SPY can resurface above that level, potential resistance break on Tesla brewing on the one. And so look how messy that chart is. So I'm not gonna dispute the fact that the chart is messy. Speaking of messy, what a game yesterday. Okay, the champions just refuse to go down. All right, they have no quit. That's what it's all about, all right? As a trader, you want to be like Argentina. Okay, we're getting a break here. On SPY, see that can lead us back to that PMH. All right, do we have enough fuel now to get back to PMH? Apple, nice flag as well. If we do have fuel to PMH, that can possibly drive SPY. That can possibly drive Apple. Walmart trying to wake up off those lows. Nothing much still in that opening range. Okay. Chop, chop, chop. So we're on the stream on YouTube until 11:30. If you have any questions, guys, drop your questions in the chat. Second shift is officially in the books. England tried parking the bus and gave up. Yeah, it just seemed like once England scored, they just resorted to defense, right? And Argentina just kept attacking. They kept attacking, kept attacking, kept attacking. So I think at this point it's a mental game as well. I mean, it's always a mental game. There's a mental element. But just imagine how many games you've played. Okay, so mental fatigue, physical fatigue starts to kick in. And some games you can come out flat. So the plan is after 11:30 to continue with the community, guys. But of course, the summer months, there isn't much action. Right? The likelihood of taking more trades the longer you sit behind the charts is very, very high. So the goal is with SPY strikers, guys, one ticker, 1 hour for one consistent result. All right, that's been the goal to get you in and out of the market. Right, take advantage of the best opportunities within an hour and be on your way, and train you to capitalize off setups within the first hour. All right, that is the whole point. Not to look at the charts, look at the screens for 10 hours. All right, so we'll pick back up our regular scheduled program once we start to get out of the summer months. Okay, we usually like to go until 1:30. And who knows? I've been considering doing a power hour stream. I don't know if you guys want, if there's demand for that. If you guys are interested in a power hour stream, there isn't a lot of power hour streams as it pertains to options trading. There's a ton of them for. There's a ton of streams out there for futures. Right? So we can possibly do that. All right, so a lot of possibilities. Okay, we dictate the terms. This is our channel. This is our community that we've built. Okay, who would be interested in that? Right, the only thing with the power hour stream, guys, is more volatile and it can be more conducive to gambling. So that's why I'm kind of just reluctant to do it. Right, because I don't want you guys to make profits during the day, show up in power hour, and then give back those profits. That's the only thing really making me reluctant. Right, so it might very well be you have a different account for power hour. It might sound funny, but having a different account for trading afternoons. These small things help tremendously. Okay, maybe you want to have an account. You open up an account. Okay, with one of the other brokers, and you just say, hey, you know what? This account is higher risk. I'm going to use it for power hour. I'm going to allocate this much capital for it, as opposed to using your actual account. Okay, so anything to protect yourself, you must do. Okay, because if you have your long term, if you have your swing trades, you have your day trades, you have your in one account, I promise you guys, liquidating your long term positions when things are not going well, when you're starting to go on tilt, is one click away. Okay, that's too close. All right, have you ever been on tilt? Sometimes, guys, if you go on tilt, there's no stopping. So you have to have all these layers of security in place. Okay, there goes SPY. Okay, there goes Tesla. Just like that, they decide to buy this thing back up. Pop. Nvidia catching a bit off those lows. Let's take a look at Nvidia. All right, so you're going to be very reluctant to short it at the very, very lows. If you took it via shockwave, maybe you got trailed out, stopped out. As SPY gets that bounce. Yeah, the last hour is chaotic, but again, there is opportunity. There's opportunity in chaos. So now Nvidia's starting to put some pressure on this territory here. All right, so now it's looks like it wants to shift the structure. So you can see they rallied off these lows, that daily downside breaker. That's why you just can't take the puts here. Okay, now we're starting to get above this, some of this resistance here. See if it's legit. If SPY starts to work its way to that PMH, okay, Tesla can be the one that's trailing behind. Got that nice break on Tesla. All right, look at that. Okay, the analysis is on point. Just my execution is just not on point. Okay, you can see that break simultaneously with SPY. SPY catches a bit off that VWAP, off that key zone, starts to push. Now, the question becomes: does it have enough fuel? Remember the scenarios we laid out. Okay, now it's back at this area. Okay, there's an idea here. If it starts to reject off here, okay, there's resistance. If it starts to break, holds, Qs decide to join the party. Qs have been unable to create separation away from the VWAP. So I'm leaning towards this being resistance as long as the Qs can't create separation. Okay, we might even see somewhat of a trap if Qs can't create separation. Okay. Just like that. Look at that. See that? The whipsaw. Any questions, guys? Any questions on Discord? Any questions on YouTube? Any questions in Google Meets, guys? So very, very choppy during second shift. We're about to hit the third shift. Look at this. Look at the range in second shift. This is atrocious, to say the least. So first shift continues to provide those opportunities, all right? But you have to just be very, very precise, on point, and present. And second shift, per usual. Okay, this is give back money hour. %50 on the rejection or that pop, because this rejection off that TOG can also be 50% since it happened so quickly. Beautiful job, Turbo. See profit, take profit. That's the way to survive here, guys. All right, the way to navigate this, the way to survive these conditions are see profit, take profit. Don't be wrong for long. I've opened and print. Beautiful. That is a recipe. Okay. Okay, and doing too much will cost too much. So don't avoid doing too much. Doing too much costs too much in these conditions. See profit, take profit. Don't be wrong for long. Survive in advance. And doing too much costs too much. That's basically the protocols and the models you want to keep in mind. Okay. Chop, 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 guys. Chop, chop, chop. So tail end of August, we can start the transition out of that chop, chop, chop. And the interesting thing is, even though we're chopping, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. We're very close to all-time highs. Nvidia going the other way, guys. Nvidia broke out, reclaimed that resistance, started to push the other way off that daily downside breaker. Okay, SPY is just stuck here, guys, in the $1.50 range. Shockwave is done. We're outside of the window. No lottos. Real quiet. The Tesla would have been a nice one, but no plans on SPY. Nvidia retrace reject. Okay, Nvidia retrace reject off of this territory. Possibly back into this area. If you can hold below there, SPY starts to, it stays contained within that range. I can think of that possibly. Outside of that, the risk might not be the reward. Even the lottos might not even have any upside, because lottos, the nature of lottos, you're going to see it play out. If you are going to do lottos, maybe close to power hour, a little more volume there. A little more activity. Hey George, tomorrow's OPEX. Yes, tomorrow's OPEX, options expiration. So the monthly contracts and the weekly contracts expire simultaneously. Should you sit it out or take trades? If sitting it out is an option, okay, sit it out. If you're looking to trade, size down. Even if it wasn't OPEX, all right, it's ramped down Friday. Okay. So sitting it out as an option. Okay, tomorrow can get very, 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 very choppy. Okay, depends on where we open up actually in relation to the key levels. But at this point, is you almost have to anticipate chop until proven otherwise. And the interesting thing is, we can make an all-time high and still chop. All right, if we zoom out, always zoom out when in doubt. This is where we are, guys. Okay, we're just, and I say just, okay, in quotes, we're just one major zone away. So we bounce off this territory. We're starting to push all-time highs in the 760s. All-time high zone is right there. All right, so we already had CPI and PPI couldn't even get us out of here. That's saying something. All right, and this is deja vu of the chop we saw last week. All right, few weeks back, it wasn't chop. We had moments of chop. We finally got that breakout. Right, here's the FOMC range. All right. The interesting thing is we're just slightly above the FOMC candles high from the last meeting. So there's a chance going to next week that we can be within the same range, okay, of the last FOMC's meeting. And this is going to be very interesting because very rarely did that occur when Powell was the Fed chair. I mean, it has nothing to do with Powell or the new chair itself. It's just the kind of conditions. It was more volatile. And the last meeting was very lackluster. Okay, I've traded tons of FOMCs. I've seen tons of FOMCs. We've seen at this point, maybe over 15, 20 meetings together as a team. This is lackluster. Okay, of course, it's a larger range, but this is, I would say, on the more conservative end. Okay, so we're just slightly above that level, sitting in some chop, within striking distance of all-time highs. Okay, that's where we are. MSFT. Let's take a look at MSFT on the hourly for intraday. Okay, NVIDIA retrace reject MSFT. Okay, nice hold above this level. MSFT. Okay, starting to push. So what do you see on MSFT? Let's delete the drawings. Let's do the technicals together, guys. Let's go to the 4 hour. Okay. Okay, so what do we see? Without doing too much thinking, without overcomplicating things. All right, we know we got the key levels, all right? But what do we see? What stands out to us? One thing that I see is these lows over here. Okay? And if I stretch these lows, that leads to these highs up here. If I stretch it some more, that's where we are right now. Okay, that's what stands out to me the most. All right, so that coincides very closely with this weekly upside breaker. That now coincides very closely with that 50 MA on the hourly. So MSFT, Microsoft, is testing this major resistance. Okay, is at this major resistance. Right, so the question now becomes, does it have enough fuel to break this resistance? If it does, you're in the reclaim camp. Okay, meaning if it does reclaim this resistance, this would be your trade. If resistance stays as resistance and if it continues to show weakness, falls back under the weekly upside breaker, 50 MA rejection, wherever your stop is, this is your trade. If you're waiting for the structural breakdown rather than just the rejection after resistance, okay, this is your trade. Trend line break from resistance, that's your trade. So what we can agree on is MSFT is in a critical level and it's primed to make a big move. Okay. From a directional standpoint, MSFT on this current stretch, right? Of course, it dumped here last week. That was a dump. On this current stretch, this is a bullish channel. The moment it breaks down and starts to shift structure, is bearish. Okay, we're moving higher. All right, but if you take a look at the bigger picture, all right, this is basically retracing into this major sell-off that we saw. So this is classified as a dead cat bounce. All right, and the pivotal point is up there. The 50% retrace point is right there. Okay, just without getting too overly technical, we got to read on MSFT. Okay, so now It's a matter of what kind of thesis do you want to build around MSFT? What is the broader context in MSFT? What is IGV doing? Okay, what is XLK doing? This is if you're going to take the swing. If you're taking it intraday, okay, you're not too overly concerned about that. If you're taking it intraday, you're focused on the key levels, okay? Okay, you can say, hey, you know what? Okay, I'm intraday. I'm not there for a long time. All right, MSFT, I want to see if we can get that reclaim of that daily upside breaker. Daily upside breaker, daily open. Can we bounce off that territory? Can we reclaim this territory? Head towards the highs of the day. That's your $1 million question, MSFT. Okay, the dip buy, of course, is 50% retrace today. Okay, if you want the next dip, weekly upside breaker test. So if you're in the intraday camp, let's go to the 5. Here you are. So you're deciphering this. Can we hold above that daily open and that daily upside breaker for a push into this territory? Because your time horizon is significantly shorter. Okay, these are the areas you're going to look to engage. All right, 1, what is your time horizon? 2, based on the time horizon you're using, okay, see if we're in a pivotal area. And if we're in a pivotal area, now start to build a thesis around that area. And when you have a thesis around that area, what is going to be your entry criteria that's going to make you take the idea? It's going to make you take the trade. Okay? Once you have the entry criteria, now define your risk. What am I looking to risk? And then once everything is checked, if it's a swing trade, then you just click the button after doing all that. Okay, so MSFT is at a critical intraday higher time frames at a critical juncture. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense, John. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Any other questions? SPY continues to chop around, guys. Be mindful of the chop. Mind the chop. Retrace, reject NVIDIA, possibly brewing if it fails to reclaim VWAP. That's the only thing I do see. SPY gets back towards VWAP. Tesla bounce off that daily open, possibly brewing as well. So lots to chop. All right. Before we do wrap up here, guys, if you're looking to join our community, take advantage of any of our resources, all the codes are pinned on the screen. You'll see QR codes pinned in the chat as well. Make sure to join our community, guys. If you're looking to join, there's a free tier available. We have access to the news feed. If you're looking to level up your trading, join us as well monthly. $69 a month. You have access to all the tools and resources you need. Daily live trading and training, along with pre-market prep. You have access to all the resources as well. If you're looking on the yearly, if you're looking to go from monthly to yearly, make sure to upgrade, save 4 months. If you're looking to access the indicator, Shockwave indicator, that's also available for you. Again, I didn't get a chance to make the price fixes, okay? So that's going to come as well. So take advantage while you can. If you're looking to get the yearly or the lifetime, best bang for your buck is a starter pack. So I'm up to speed on everyone who did get starter pack, everyone who does have Shockwave. All right, since I have to manually put those things into place, I'm up to speed for all those. Everything else, if you're looking to join, is automated. Once you do join, you'll get a link to join via WAP. All right, so make sure to take advantage of the starter pack special. That includes 12-month access to our community, 12 months access. That includes Shockwave indicator, right? That includes a coaching call as well. Okay, and that includes the bootcamp ticket as well. All right, so all that is available to you. If you're looking for courses, coaching one-on-one, everything is available to you at smartactiontrain.com. Very straightforward site to navigate. I truly do believe in education, right? Education being the best way to learn. On top of that, the demonstration through training is also the best way to retain. All right, one thing is to learn, another thing is to retain and see it take place in real time. All that is available to you at smartactiontrain.com. So make sure to take advantage. Make sure to level up your trading. And of course, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel as always. If we don't have any questions, we'll look to wrap up the stream here. As always, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you guys found value. Like the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, and God bless each one of you.
Jesus is the answer. Oh. When the charts went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there. Jesus is the answer. I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete. Running after green candles like they can save my soul. The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand, watch the tide roll in. Learning every earthly kingdom has an end. Some valleys look so deep, I couldn't see the light. Some storms got so strong, I couldn't wing the fire. But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep walking on. Not because I'm worthy, not because I'm strong, but because the shepherd never leaves his own. Jesus is the answer. The anchor in the storm when the market starts to sway. Through the highs and lows, the cross still stands when everything else fades. Jesus is the answer. Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone. There's fear inside my chest. Questions without answers. Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch. But Psalm 23 kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy, life story I could never write, turning broken chances into testimony and life. Jesus is the answer. The anchor in the storm when the market's about to sway. Through the highs and lows, the call still stands when everything else fades. Jesus is the answer. He's today and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found. If you're tired of running, if you're carrying change, if you're searching for purpose in success or in fame, the good news is simple. The debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day. 3 days later, the stone rolled away. Death lost the victory. The grave could not stay. Whoever believes, whoever will come, will find forgiveness in the Father's Son. I still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope is found in the outcome instead. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall, the price remains Lord over all. The market can give, the market can take, but he turned and he rests on a different stage. So when the candles flicker and uncertainty grows, I remember the one who's already in control. The Lamb who was slain, the King who will reign, the Alpha and Omega, forever the same. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. The anchor in the storm. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Forever and ever. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Though I walk through the valley, you are with me. Shadows around me, you are with me. Jesus is the answer. Forever and ever. Amen. Jesus is the answer. Oh. When the charts went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there. Jesus is the answer. I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete. window sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand. Watch the tide roll in. Learning every earthly kingdom has an end. Some valleys look so deep, I couldn't see the light. Some storms got so strong, I couldn't wing the fight. But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep walking on. Not because I'm worthy, not because I'm strong, but because the shepherd never leaves his own. Jesus is the answer. The anchor in the storm when the market's about to sway. Through the highs and lows, through the joy and pain, the cross still stands when everything else fades. Jesus is the answer. Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley found. Yeah, there were nights I sat alone. There's fear inside my chest. Questions without answers. Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch. But Psalm 23 kept reminding me to trust. So I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies. I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy, write a story I could never write, turning broken chances into testimony and life. Jesus is the answer. The anchor in the storm when the market's about to sway. Through the highs and lows, through the joy and pain, the call still stands when everything else fades. Jesus is the answer. Yesterday and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found. If you're tired of running, if you're carrying change, if you're searching for purpose in success or anything, the good news is simple. The debt has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day. 3 days later, the stone rolled away. Death lost the victory. The grave could not stay. Whoever believes, whoever will come, will find forgiveness in the Father's Son. I still trade, I still work, I still plan and prepare, but my hope isn't found and the outcome is dead. Because fortunes rise and fortunes fall, Christ remains Lord over all. The market can give, the market can take, but eternity rests on a different stage. So when the candles flicker and uncertainty grows, I remember the one who's already in control. The Lamb who was slain, the King who will reign, the Alpha and Omega, forever the same. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the way. The anchor in the storm. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Forever and ever. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Though I walk through the valley, you are with me. Shadows around me, you are with me. Through the valley, Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Jesus is the answer. Oh. When the charts went dark, when the road got narrow, he was there. Jesus is the answer. I spent years chasing numbers on a glowing screen, thinking one more win would finally make me complete. Running after green candles like they could save my soul. The prophets make a poor God when they're sitting on a throne. Build my house on sand. Watch the tide roll in. Learning every earthly kingdom has an end. Some valleys look so deep, I couldn't see the light. Some storms got so strong, I couldn't wing the fight. But every time I thought my story might be done, I felt the hand of mercy say, my child, keep walking on. Not because I'm worthy, not because I'm strong, answers. Battles without rest. The shadow of death felt close enough to touch.
But Psalm 23
Kept reminding me to trust. Though I walk through valleys dark as midnight skies, I will fear no evil, for you're right by my side. The rod and the staff, the comfort and grace, the God of resurrection meeting me in that place. I've seen doors swing open that no man could unlock. I've seen peace show up when logic said it could not. I've seen mercy,
Life story I could never write.
turning broken chances into testimony and life.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the way.
Be like a in the storm when the
Markets felt this way.
through the highs and lows.
Through the joy and pain,
The call still stands where
everything else fades.
Jesus is the answer.
Jesus is the answer.
He's the day and now, the King who walks beside us through every valley's found.
If you're tired of running,
If you're carrying change,
if you're searching for purpose,
in success or in fame,
the good news is simple.
that has been paid. Jesus took our place upon the cross that day.
3 days later,
The stone rolled away.
death lost the victory.
The grave could not stay.
Whoever believes
Whoever will come
will find forgiveness in the Father's
I
Son.
still trade, I still